What's going on, y'all? Harry from Harry the Horse Barbecue here, and in this one, I am not horsing around with the scratch-made BLT. We're gonna cure and smoke some pork belly to make some amazing homemade bacon, make a beautiful loaf of white bread from scratch, harvest some gorgeous vegetables from our backyard garden, and we'll turn all these ingredients into the most amazing BLT you've ever seen. Looking for the ultimate version of this summertime classic? Well, the horse has got your back. Let's get it.
Harry the Horse Barbecue.
The BLT is a classic sandwich commonly served up at your local diners, your local delis, your local sandwich shops. But one thing that commonly reigns true with this sandwich is that it's usually pretty boring and it's commonly underwhelming. The bread is usually a weird white bread, the bacon is underdone and flopping around, the lettuce is wilted, the tomato is slipping around like it's on a slip and slide in your backyard. But if we take every element of this sandwich and absolutely make it from scratch, and I think we could do that here at the Horse Stables to create the best BLT possible. So in order to make this sandwich, let's start with the star and make some bacon. Let's go. That'd be some bacon that I already started. And here's a brand new big old batch of bacon cure. Now I've made bacon plenty of times on this channel, so I'll link a couple videos for y'all throughout this video so you can check those out. This pork belly from Marbled Meat Shop ended up being about 3.8 pounds or roughly about 1,742 grams. I like to do a 2.5% equilibrium brine. So I put together this batch of bacon cure that's in the description down below. 2.5% of the weight of this pork belly was about 44 grams or so. So I put 44 grams of this cure all over this pork belly, vac sealed it up, and it's been chilling in my fridge for about the last 9 days or so. It's fully cured and feeling firm, so after that long-winded explanation, I'm just gonna break this out of the bag, rinse it off, and go throw it on the cooker. So let's go fire up the cooker. Some snake nests, 3 should get us started. We don't need too raging of a fire because we're pretty much cold smoking this bacon. It don't matter. Our cooker is up to cold smoke temps, and for me that means anywhere above 150 degrees. When cold smoking pork belly to make bacon, I'm trying to get that internal temp up to about 150 in the bacon, so these lower and smoky temperatures in the beginning aren't gonna be a huge deal, and it's gonna allow us to accumulate a ton of smoke flavor in the beginning. But enough horsing around, let's get this belly on. Up and under, whoa! Super smoky. Belly on the middle of the cooker, something about like that. This pork belly is gonna rock in the middle back of the cooker for the next 4 hours or so in a low temp and super smoky environment. Those conditions will allow this pork belly to pick up a ton of smoke flavor, which will give us some super smoky bacon for our BLTs. It'll also render out a little bit of that fat and build some amazing color in the process. So hold your horses and go low and slow. I've got the damper to the smokestack about halfway closed, and our fire's rocking a super smoky 200 to 225 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll check back with y'all when we got bacon, but until then, all we gotta do is close it down. Boom, shakalaka. All right, y'all, we're 4 hours in on the B of our BLT, so let's check in on this bacon and see how she's doing. That looks great. Look how red this color is. Little bit of fat render, looking super shiny. She looks like bacon to me, but let's see what temp she's rocking. Just shy of 150. There's not much else for me to do here except for rock this belly out for just a wee bit longer. I'm gonna give this belly about 30 to 45 more minutes just to wrap up. It'll take on a little bit more smoke, render a little bit more fat, and take on a little bit more color. So in a wee bit, I'm gonna pull this, cool it down on the counter, wrap it in plastic wrap and throw it in the fridge overnight to chill out. And then tomorrow we'll continue scratch making our BLTs. So if you stuck with me through 4 hours of making bacon, make sure to hit that subscribe button and I'll see y'all back in the AM. Oh, there it is. Time to make our white bread for our BLTs, which is directly based on Joshua Weissman's cookbook. So let's make some. First in with our warm milk and our water, and then our yeast. Quick mix. Oh my gosh. Like I said, a quick mix. We'll let this yeast bloom for maybe 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, we're looking frothy the snowman in here. So next in is bread flour, kosher salt, granulated sugar, and not in Josh's recipe book, but some dough conditioner. We want it to be super fluffy. We're gonna mix on low speed until we get a cohesive dough to form, and then we can add some butter. So I don't know if y'all can see, but that is a smooth-ish looking dough ball, and we mix that for about 2 to 4 minutes or so. Last in is our softened butter. And now we mix until the butter's fully incorporated. We should probably lift this first, and now mix. And after about 10 minutes of mixing, we have our dough ball. Just gonna add a touch of flour just because it's sticking a little bit. Still a little sticky, but a beautiful dough ball nonetheless. The dough has now entered this bowl that I greased with avocado oil. Now we'll cover with greased plastic wrap. And now we let this dough ball rise for the next hour and a half to 2 hours. So I'll see y'all in a little bit. And after about an hour and a half, we got a little overzealous here. Probably could have used a bigger bowl, but let's turn her out. Degas her a little bit. Couple little slap and folds. Roll her out a little bit just so we can get a little bit of a log shape going. I will say this dough is beautiful to work with, and that is the gassiest dough I've ever made on this channel for show. And essentially we just kind of want to roll it back, pinch the seam on the underside just so we don't unravel this dough. Grease pan, lay our dough oh so gently, cover it back up with some plastic wrap, and we're gonna let this rest for another 45 minutes. And after about a 50-minute rise, our loaf is looking pretty darn sweet. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Definitely one of the more puffier loaves I've ever made on the channel, but this is gonna hit a 350-degree oven for maybe about 30 minutes or so. We're just looking for it to be GBC, golden, brown, and crusty. I'll see y'all when it's done. And that's a pretty sweet looking loaf of bread. This took about 40 minutes in the oven, and it's been resting on the counter for about 30. I'm gonna continue to let this cool on the wire rack for a little bit, and then we're gonna wrap it up in some plastic wrap and throw it into a plastic bag so we can get a little bit squishier, a little bit softer, and this will hopefully be the grocery store white bread that the recipe claims that it is. So now all we gotta do is wait, and we'll make some BLTs tomorrow. So obviously the most critical component of a BLT is the bacon. So we're breaking out the meat slicer. I'm gonna slice this on the fairly thick side. Yeah, that's smelling super smoky. And I want this bacon to be about a 1/4 inch thick. That's looking thin, yet pretty thick. I think we want some crispy bacon, not some super thick, chewy bacon. So I'm gonna keep rolling with this. I've got as much sliced bacon onto this sheet tray as I can fit without overcrowding it. And here's the remaining bacon, which is a ton. So making your own homemade bacon will give you a ton of bacon that you could use for sandwiches, breakfast, whatever the case is. Even though this takes about a week to make, I highly recommend making your own bacon. There's nothing like it. My favorite method of cooking bacon is rendering it in the oven. Just gives you the most even render, some super crisp bacon, and it doesn't curl up on you when you're done cooking it. So into a 350-degree oven this goes. Once all this bacon's cooked off, we have one more task before we build these BLTs. Into the oven she goes. After mowing the lawn and hitting the showers, it's time to make basically our last scratch-made component for this BLT, and that is our homemade mayonnaise, which begins with 2 large egg yolks. I'm going in with the juice of a whole lemon. This is a big old lemon. I see you, seed. I see you, seed. 2 small garlic cloves, about a tablespoon of Dijon. Let's mix this together. Hit this with a pinch of kosher salt. Now we're gonna stream in our oil, which is avocado oil. Slowly going in. It's gonna be about a cup of avocado oil total. Mayonnaise is looking thick. We're gonna go in with some fresh cracked black. Give that a quick zhuzh. And that process yields a super quick, a super delicious, a super creamy mayonnaise that really is so much better than anything you can buy in the store. It's gonna take that BLT to the not horsing around level. Let's go do one more thing that is pretty much the ultimate from scratch version of this sandwich. Follow me outside. First of all, look at that yard. Look at that sunflower. But something I haven't shown off in a lot of videos is the horse stables. We got a garden going on, and in this garden, I'm not done building it yet, I think I've got some lovely beefsteak tomatoes. These are actually Cherokee purples that are ready for this sandwich. Grew these myself, tomatoes cracking, but I think it's ready to go. That should do for our sandwich. You hiding in there? You're gonna come too. And now at this point, there's nothing left to do except for build this sandwich. Let's check out that loaf of bread. Smells like it's been fresh baked, which is awesome, and it was. That is definitely some grocery store white bread. Look how airy and fluffy. Let's get a nice little toast on these. That toast looks great. Let's build this BLT. Single-sided toast so we don't cut the roof of our mouth. A few different of these Cherokee purple tomatoes to choose from. Let's give this one a slice. That is absolutely gorgeous. Our beautiful homemade bread down, a generous smear of our homemade mayo on both sides. You know what they say, crust to crust is a must. A couple sheets of some, what is this? Butter lettuce, just a few sheets down as a blanket that is then gonna host our beautiful slice of tomato. Hit that tomato with a little flake salt and some fresh cracked black pepper. And then 1, 2, 3, and 4 slices of our homemade bacon, and that looks ridiculous. Let's close up shop. We're gonna go with the old school diagonal cut. Yeah, that's looking pretty darn sweet. I know Perry's hungry and has been waiting for the sandwich, so I'm gonna deliver this to her, then I'll whip up another one and sink my teeth into this. We got our beautifully toasted homemade bread, tons of homemade mayo. And if you're keeping score at home, the only thing I didn't actually grow or make is the lettuce. We had some in the garden this year, it just died. So the butter lettuce is how we had to go. Couple of leaves of this, a beautiful slice of Cherokee purple tomato, some flake salt. I completely missed. Season up that tomato with some black pepper. And I'm going with tons of bacon on mine. That homemade bacon is just way too good. That is a sweet looking BLT. Dowel strong knife for a quick diagonal cut. That bacon's just hanging off of there, calling my name. That is just insanely good. Let's just jump to the part that says this BLT is so good I just can't stop, because I seriously can't stop eating it right now. So yeah, like pretend I said that. It's so light and so flavorful. It's unreal. And it's just such a great sandwich for a beautiful summer afternoon. The homemade bread is totally worth it, and it's just like a handful of ingredients. It's fluffy, it's squishy, it's buttery, and it just melts when you bite into it. I don't know what I can tell y'all about these Cherokee purple tomatoes. If you're not growing tomatoes in the summertime, I cannot recommend it enough to grow them. I get my seeds from Epic Gardening. Their botanical interest line is what I go to, and they are just the perfect slicing tomato. They're juicy, they are so flavorful, so much better than any store-bought tomato, and they're just beautiful to look at. My sincerest apologies for not growing the lettuce for this one, but why don't we head outside and plant a couple seeds, just so you know I'm not horsing around with growing these vegetables. All right, y'all, popped outside here at the garden, and I just wanted to show y'all which lettuce I'm gonna be planting for future BLTs. Hopefully y'all can see that, but this is new red fire red leaf lettuce. Perry and I are huge fans of red leaf lettuce, so let's pop some seeds in. All right, so these are tiny little guys, so I'm just gonna make a little depression right here. That's where I got some room in the bed. Toss 3 seeds down in there. Just cover it back up. Give it a little spritz with some water. And hopefully here in a couple months, we'll have some red leaf lettuce. I hope that shows y'all that I can actually scratch make all of these items, and I hope it's enough for y'all to forgive me for not growing this lettuce myself. Now that that's done, back to the sandwich. The bacon is unreal. It's crispy, the perfect level of saltiness, and it just has this deep, rich, fatty flavor. And I know you guys might think that homemade mayonnaise is just mayonnaise, but it is a game changer when it comes to any sandwich. It's got this acidic creaminess, and that garlic just elevates the flavor. Every single component of the sandwich is just not horsing around. Speaking of, hold your horses. This sandwich is ridiculous. The components are simple. You're really connecting to nature and scratch-made items, and you don't have to loosen your belt buckle after eating this. So I don't know what else to tell y'all except for stop horsing around and make this one already. Thank y'all for tuning into Harry the Horse Barbecue. I really appreciate you checking out this video. Make sure you subscribe for the vibes, leave a like for some summertime BLTs, and comment down below with the next sandwich I should make from scratch. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I'm posting new content. You can follow me on Instagram at Harry the Horse Barbecue. Tag me so I can see what y'all are cooking, because y'all inspire these cooks. And with that being said, there's only one more thing, y'all. This one is going straight to the horse's mouth. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace! Making things from scratch rules.